Come along with me today as I use my holiday planner from DCP Digitals as my weekly planner also. Well, hi everyone, I'm Crystal from A Crystal Clear Life. If you're new here, I'd like to say welcome. If you're a returning visitor, I'd like to say welcome back. Thanks for joining me today. I'm happy that you're here with us, and I wanted to take this opportunity to say if you like what you see here today, please think about subscribing to my channel. Subscriptions are free, they don't cost you anything, but they do let YouTube know that the content that we are producing here is something that is helpful or entertaining, and they will help other people find our channel. The more likes and the more subscribers and the more comments that we get. So if you have a few moments and could leave me a comment or hit that thumbs up button or hit the subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. Now, enough of that. Let's get on with the fun stuff. Today is the second week in December, and I wanted to take you along as I do part of my weekly review. If you know anything about the GTD method, the weekly review is a process where you go through and evaluate what you've already accomplished for the week and go ahead and start doing some pre-planning for the week ahead. So I have a complete list of videos on the GTD method. I will link them up above if you're interested, specifically the one that might have to do with the weekly review. But I wanted to share this portion with you because this month I'm trying something new. I'm using the holiday planner that came from DCP Digitals. I downloaded it. It was a free download that Jennifer offered to everyone this year. And not only does it include all these wonderful pages for holiday record keeping and memory keeping and organizing and planning, but there are also monthly and weekly calendar pages in there as well. And I wanted to go ahead and give those a try because I'm thinking that I'm going to use one of her backgrounds for my 2022 planner. I haven't completely decided yet, but rather than make my own, I may use her pre-designed planner. So stay tuned for that. Let's go ahead and jump into the computer and I will show you what I've been using for December so far and how I'm going to set up for this next week coming up. Okay, so you can see here on my screen that I have my normal looking monthly dashboard that includes my calendar for things that are coming up that are important, not little tiny everyday things, but the big major and special events. So that's there. And then we also have the currently section, which I love to do that page. It's currently, what I'm reading, dreaming, thinking, wearing, all of those kinds of things. And also my December in the garden. Not much going on in the garden right now because it's very cold out, all the leaves are down, and most things are going into their state of inactive. And actually the ground is probably almost frozen, so not much going on out there. But I do still like to keep a list of things that I need to keep in my mind regarding the garden. And then I have my cute little sassy cat down here in the bottom who helps me remember what videos I have up for release for this particular month. So when I look at my upcoming week, one of the things that you do in a weekly review is you go back and look a couple of weeks back to see what you've done, and you also look forward. Well, as I look back, I know that my daughter is back in England safe and sound. My husband and I both got our booster shots and then spent the weekend recovering from the booster shots. We don't always handle them well, but that's why we did it on a Friday. We also went to a retirement seminar this week. And so we spent a lot of time doing those kinds of things together. Not a lot else happening. With COVID still around, like I've said before, we're not doing much. We're not going out. We have some underlying health conditions that We just don't want to take a chance. It's not worth doing anything and making ourselves sick. So, as you can see, my week for the 11th through the 17th, 18th, 19th, it's all empty. Ah, the life of empty nesters, right? No more kids to run around. You really can just do what you want to do when you want to do it, which, yes, I love my daughter very much, but it is nice to have a little bit of freedom. I remember the days that I was so busy that I used to think, if I can just make it through today, I'll be okay. Or if I can just make it to Thursday, I will be okay. Those days are gone. And I sure do miss that excitement, but I'm grateful for the peace as well. As you can see here, really there is no layout for this page. This is just a blank page that is in the notebook for the holiday planner. And then I was just able to build all of my little tables and graphics on top of that. You see when I hover over things that I have these little gray boxes that indicates containers that I can move around if I want to and move back if I want to. Oh, I didn't quite move him back far enough. But you get the picture. I can move each individual graphic if I want. That little cup of cocoa can go in a different location. So really you can build scenes and build checkboxes and tables and all of that kind of stuff on these blank pages, which is great. I love doing that. Now let's take a look at the weeks. I'll start down here with December week 3, and you can see that this is a predated planner. So when you get the planner, the pages are predated. So this particular week runs from December 13th through December 19th. And this has a week on one side with a section for notes, and then built into the planner, part of the graphics is this checkbox, red and green checkbox, and then I'm not sure if you can see it on the screen, but it's a very fine check grid box. Okay. All right, so that's what it looks like when you first get it. Let me show you what I did to it the first week. So for the first week, it looks very busy and very different than the blank week did. Let me talk to you about what I did. So I put the dates up here, November 29th through December 5th. And each individual week is already dated. As I scroll around, if you see a gray bar come up at the top, that is an individual container, remember, that I can move. Or if I click on one of these graphics and you see the little circles and dashed boxes, those are also individual graphics that I can move around. So you see here, I went ahead and added some tables to my daily pages in my weekly overview, because I'm somebody who likes to have lines to write on. Even if I'm handwriting, I write better with lines, but I think the tables help keep me a little bit more organized. Down here in the notes section, I created a small table for myself for my weekly goals and people that I'm praying for. I went back to pages in November and October that I felt that worked very well for me and included all of the little things that I needed to have, like my goals, like my prayers, my weekly gratitude, my wins, that kind of thing. So on the right-hand side, you will see that I added a green section here for holiday, titled that holiday, and then these are tasks that I needed to get done for specifically the holidays. Then down here at the bottom, I tried doing a generic kind of list of everything that I need to do in my home throughout the week. Clean the basement steps, wipe down the wood floors, mulch the leaves that have fallen, tidy up my craft studio, water my plants, those kinds of things. So I have that list here. Then I wanted to use some various habit trackers, so I did morning routine, laundry, financial check-in, dusting and vacuuming, move it, which means exercise, which you can see I did not do very well that week. Water intake, and then down in this very bottom, I have my weekly gratitude and celebrating the wins. For some reason, I kind of like it in that lower right-hand corner. It's like at the end of the day, I go over and fill that in, and that works for me. Another great thing about digital planning is you can put photographs in where you want. Right before my daughter left, the night before she left, we made gingerbread houses. I should say my husband and my daughter made gingerbread houses. I just sat there and laughed and took pictures because they were having a blast. And I'll let you try to figure out which is the meticulous, detail-oriented person and which is the creative, hysterically funny person. I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, we had a lot of fun that night before she left making these gingerbread houses. So I wanted to put this picture in here to document that. I kind of liked how this worked, but not 100%. So during last week, since I didn't love 100% of everything that was happening in the first week, I changed it up a little bit. So you can see here that I didn't need to put the week at the top, but I did add the weather for each day because I like to have that ahead of time when I am planning out my week. I did put my tables back in. I do have some tasks that need to be done. Some I checked off with my Apple Pencil. Again, because I was using my iPad to take notes at these retirement seminars most of the time, not sitting in front of my desktop. I kept my weekly goals and prayers down here at the bottom. And my holiday list stayed at the top. Didn't have much going on to do for the holidays except bake cookies, which I did yesterday. So I get to check that off today. And I reduced my habit trackers to a much smaller size. Again, you see, I am not exercising. I have got to come up with a better plan. Anyway, and I left 2 over here on the side, kind of more household tasks. These are more personal items. These are more household tasks. I did not like having my dinner plans mixed in with my day. I like having a separate area for that. So I brought back my dinner plans table that I put up here in the corner. For me, it's just a quick and easy way to look for it. So I kind of like that there. Could it use some more color? Yes. Could it use some decoration? Yes. Is it functional? Absolutely. So we will leave that. And then down here at the bottom, again, that list of household items seemed to work for me. But you'll notice again, because I was on my iPad most of the week, some of them have checkboxes, meaning that I did them, or sometimes I would just highlight them to say that they were completed. Those tend to be my 3 ways of doing things. I either put a check mark next to it with my Apple Pencil, or I highlight it to show that it's complete, or if it is an actual task box, I will go ahead and check it off when it's done. So that's kind of how this current week, because we are right now on Friday the 10th, and you see I have some items still on my list to do today. My video was posted. I did review it. I have responded to my comments, so I can check those items off. And I have not gone to take my trash to the dump. That is this afternoon. I chose to do those things today because it's supposed to be a little bit warmer this afternoon and sunny, which is always a good way to take pictures inside our church because it's very dark inside. So the more sunlight I can have, the better. Tomorrow is our cookie exchange, and I'm excited about that. I've added a couple tasks to my brain dump about getting those cookies ready, packaged up, and that kind of thing. We're doing a trick or trunk kind of activity where we're getting together, decorating our cars, and we will be doing the cookie exchange outside of the church, but still going from car to car to collect our cookies. We had a lot of fun last year, so we're going to do it again this year. So week 3, again, this is how it comes from Jennifer and the DCP Digitals folks. It's very plain, and then you can do with it what you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to week 2 and copy those tables and bring them forward and then clean them up a bit so that you can see how that works. Let's do the first one together. Okay, so back here at week 2, I am going to choose this table, and you see it turns everything gray. All I did was click on it. Now I'm going to right click and I'm going to say copy. Then I will go back to my page for December week 3. And I'm going to paste on the side over here. And this is about the size that I had it in week 2. And that size seemed to work for me. But you'll see when I bring it in at that size that the background picture is not the same size. They kind of overlap and they don't line up correctly. Well, if you notice here, my entire graphic has that dashed line with the circles around it. That means that it's still a graphic and I can still manipulate the size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to this corner. I'm going to grab this corner simply by clicking and holding, and then I'm going to pull it. And what I'm doing is I'm watching for my lines to line up. Now you see, because I was talking, I went a little too far, and now my calendar is way bigger than my table. So that means that I need to go down here again, click and hold, and I can shrink it. Until I get it exactly where I want it. Now let's adjust. And there you go. Now, this is the size that I want it to be because it fits those tables pretty well, okay? Now, the question is, how do I keep it this size? How do I keep this graphic that I'm putting all this stuff on top of from moving around? Well, the answer is very simple. All you have to do is click somewhere on your graphic so that you get these dashed lines with the circles around it, and then right-click, and somewhere on your menu, down near the bottom, there is a box that says Set Picture as Background. When I click that, my picture no longer has the dashed lines and the circles around it. I can no longer go down here to this corner and manipulate it in any way. It just doesn't work because it's set as the background. So that means now I can put things on top of it and move things around like stickers and that kind of thing. And everything will stay on top of that picture the way that it is, okay? Now let's say down the road that I want to change something. I can go back up here to my graphic, right-click on it, go down here where it says Set Picture as Background, uncheck that, and now you see my dash line and my circles have come back. So now it's a graphic again, a graphic that I can manipulate. I can move if I'd like to, okay? All right, now let me get that lined up again. And once it's lined up the way I want, Set Picture as Background, and now the background is set. Okay, now I'm going to speed this part up because I'm just going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to go to week 2, grab the items that I like, and pull them over to week 3. Okay, to move my habit trackers, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my draw tool. I am going to use my lasso tool, which will group all of these things together. I can even include my sticker there if I'd like. It will include my text boxes, my drawings, and everything. And it will move everything at one time. So once all of those things are highlighted, I can right-click, copy, go back to week 3, and paste. Now, everything has, you see this one big dotted box around it, I can move that whole thing at one time and put it right where I want it. And then when I click off of it, all of those things are still individual pieces, but it's much easier to move them when you can just cluster them all together and carry them somewhere. Okay, so there is everything moved over from week 1 to week 2. Now, if this were an undated planner, I simply could have copied that page and then pasted it, made a whole new page. But because these are dated planners, you really can't do that because then your dates will get all screwed up. I mean, I guess you could go back and cover up the dates, but what's the point of having a dated planner if you're going to do that? One of the benefits I see of having a dated planner is that you can do pre-planning. So if you know you have a birthday celebration or a party or something coming up in the future, you can scroll through to that week and put that item right on that date. Which one am I going to use next year? I don't know yet. I haven't figured that out. But I'm playing around with it. So this time I'm using the dated to see if I like that. I've also been playing around with some of the undated pages to see if I like those. I've even been playing around with some daily pages. Anyway, let's whip out the eraser and clean this up. And we'll go in and take off any items that don't occur this week. So no lunch dates. All right. This can come off because I've completed that. So this list of home tasks is really a recurring list. I tend to do these things every week, like most people. And so I just leave them there and check them off. I was able to find a font size that works pretty well with staying on the lines. This happens to be a 16-point font, and it works pretty well at staying on the lines. So this really is just a text box, and if I go down here and hit enter, it will jump down and it looks like it's sitting right on the line. So I can type an additional thing to do, mail. I will uncheck these items because I will need to do those again. All right, the Advent posts have been a weekly or a daily event for church, so I will choose that task for church. Now, some of you may not know what these tag boxes are that I'm using on here and why my fonts are in different colors and that kind of thing. If you look all the way over here on the right hand side of the screen, you see a tag summary page, and you can see that I can search by tag name and that I can show only unchecked items. Now what this does is it goes through, I have it set up to go through my entire notebook here, so year long all the way January through December, and it goes through and it looks for items that have not been completed because I have show only unchecked items. So if I do a refresh on this, it will go through. Right now it's showing that chicken fajita soup recipe that I wanted to try has been checked off, and normally it doesn't show items that are checked off. Fix the light bulb, I just did that this morning, so I can check those items off. Vacuum, I did that this morning, so I can check that off. Quickly skimming down. Film December plan with me. I'm doing that now. I can check that off. Posted review video, I did that. And prep the video for today's release. Worship for Sunday has not occurred yet, so I will leave that. But you see I have checked items here, but if I go through and I refresh those results, those items will disappear from my list. So the recipe is gone, the vacuuming is gone from the list, and so these are only the things that I need to currently do. It's actually a very cool way of keeping track of what you have to do and at what specific time and place you have to do it. I have a whole series on using tags in OneNote. I will link those up above as well. They're some of my most popular videos on this channel regarding OneNote because they are so helpful. If you've not used tags, they're just absolutely wonderful. I suggest that you check them out. But anyway, part of my GTD weekly review is getting my calendar set up for next week, and I just wanted to bring you along and show you how quick and easy that is. I've reviewed the last couple weeks. I've checked for incomplete items, and I only have a few more things to do, like adding the weather and my meal planning, which will happen on Sunday. And then I'll be ready for next week. So thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you found something new to like. And again, if you would be so gracious as to give this video a thumbs up, or go ahead and hit that subscribe button, I would really appreciate that. I hope everyone is having a wonderful December, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, thanks for joining me. Bye.